Hey guys, welcome to my little paintbrush. I am Miss Sarah, and today we are going to be painting cotton candy because it's summertime. And I love cotton candy during the summer. Hope you guys have a good time with me. Remember to be kind to yourself as we are painting. We're all learning together. We're going to be learning a couple of blending techniques today, which is super fun once you learn them. So remember, you can pause and rewind, okay? So you don't have to go the same pace as me. So take your time and let's have fun. You ready? We're gonna have, let's see, a couple brushes here. We have a large flat, a medium flat, and a detail brush. These are my best friends today. If you have a smaller round brush too, instead of a small flat, that works great. We can make it work. All right, first things first, let's get our brush wet because acrylics love water a lot. So I always rinse my brush off, make sure it's clean in some water. And I don't dab it off too much. I want to keep some water in my brush so that my paint gets a little bit. It's been sitting there for a second, so it needs some water. All right, our first color is going to be pink and white. I like to lay all my paint out like this so I can see it really well. And let's go ahead and mix some white with our pink. You can decide how light you want this. I like mine pretty light so that I can float the edges with a darker pink. So if you notice, I'm not mixing all my pink right now. I'm saving some, right? Okay, so I'm just gonna mix a little bit. I like that color. If you wanna go a little darker or lighter, you can. Personal preference. Okay, let's go ahead and start painting one of our cute cotton candy here, our little cotton candy friends. You can switch it up if you want and paint the other one pink instead of this one. It's up to you. Okay, you can have some fun with this. You can even change the background to pink or blue and paint one of your cotton candies yellow as well, because you have that option. If you purchased our paint kit, you'll have yellow, or you can mix yellow and pink together and get orange. It's a really fun orange color, and you can paint one of your cotton candies orange or your background orange. So there's lots of options. You can have some fun with your paint. So you can see we trace your eyeballs in for you, or maybe you did with our pattern. And if you want to paint right over it, you can, or if you trust that you can see through it, through your paint, you can just paint right over it. See, I can see through my paint pretty well, so I'm not too worried. But if you're worried about it, just go ahead and paint around your eyeball. And right here on this edge, you can reach over and paint the side of your canvas. We call that wrapping our canvas, so it's done on all sides. So if you'd like to do that, go ahead and reach around on that spot and paint the side of your canvas. We have a little spot here just above our bow that's pink as well. It's just kind of peeking. So we want to make sure we get that, okay? Make sure you get all the way around that bow. Super cute. Okay, what we're going to do now before our paint dries is we're going to float the edges. So I didn't rinse my brush, but I did make sure it has enough water on it. So I dipped my brush in some water just to make sure it was wet enough, okay, to float. The key to floating is to have a damp enough brush. If it's too dry, it won't do the job for you. Okay, so now I'm just gonna stick a very, very tippy corner of my brush. See that? Just a little tiny bit on the corner of my brush of just the pink. It's not mixed with white. And you'll notice that it stands out because I didn't mix it with white. It's darker. And that's why I wanted my cotton candy to be slightly lighter so I could shade the edges. Just kind of adds a fun touch to our painting. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just float all the way around. If you don't want to float like this, you can get a detail brush, which is a very small brush with a small point, and you can outline it. So sometimes floating around the edges is tricky for our young artists, so we encourage them to practice their line work and float the edges. So you can do that as well. Okay, I'm also going to float around my bow here, just like that. Just make sure I have my edges done. And I'm going to float the top, this little corner here of my cotton candy. You don't want to forget that either. Okay, now that that is done, you can put some little wavy curls in our cotton candy just to show that it's fluffy, right? So you can either use a detail brush to do this, or you can just float it in. So I have 2 little humps right here, just like that. And then I have a little one right here under the bow. Okay. And you can put these anywhere you want. The idea is to just have little wavy curls in our cotton candy. Okay, I'm going to rinse my brush now so we can go on to our next one. Our next cotton candy is blue. So I'm going to mix some of my blue with my white, again, to lighten it up, right? We want it lighter so we can float the edges darker. So it just takes a little bit of blue. This is phthalo blue, and it's super dark, very potent. So you want to make sure you just use a touch of it, okay, to get that lighter blue. Don't need too much. And let's go ahead and fill in our other cotton candy here. The more water you have in your paint, the smoother and quicker it'll go on. Okay, it's important to get a good consistency. You don't want it too thin to where it's dripping, but if it's too thick, it won't fill those little white pockets on your canvas. So just make sure you have enough water in your paint as you go. There we go. We're just going to fill that in fairly quickly. And again, I can fill in my eyeballs here or go around them. If you feel like you can see them okay, go ahead and just paint right around or inside of them. All right. A little bit more right here. And remember, we're going to go right into floating next. So I'm not going to rinse my brush, but I do want to make sure it's wet enough, right? Let's put a little bit of blue on the corner right here of our brush, just like we did with our pink, just a tiny bit on the corner. And now we can float the edges. So you point that color towards the edge that you're going around, okay? So in my case, I'm pointing up with my dark blue to float the edges here. And I'm going to go around the pink and float that edge as well, just to give it that extra detail. Remember, for young artists, if they want, they can take a detail brush and just outline the edges instead of floating. Sometimes floating can be frustrating for our young artists, but we love to encourage them to try. It's good practice. Okay, so we're going to go around here. There we go. Just adds some fun texture to our painting. All right, so now that we've done that, we're going to go ahead and again add those little fluffy ruffles in our cotton candy. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit of blue on the corner of my brush again and decide where I want those to go. I'm going to put one right here. So I'm just going to float these little ruffles up and down. You can do different levels, so you can do a big one, small one. We have another one here. Let's see, I think I want it to go right here, and we're just gonna do 2 little humps there, just like that. There we go, cute. And you can add as many as you want. All right. All right. The idea is just to make sure it looks fluffy, like cotton candy does. So I love to just let my brush strokes show, light and dark. If you notice, I try to keep my strokes going the direction of the cotton candy, so up and down. There we go. All right, I'm gonna switch brushes on you. I want to use a smaller flat, so I'm gonna rinse this larger one out and set it down for a minute. If you have a number 6 round, that works great too. But I'm gonna use a medium flat, looks like this. Okay, and we're gonna go ahead and add the stripes in our little, what do they call those? Cardboard holders for our cotton candy. Super cute. Okay, let's do blue first. So I'm gonna load my brush with my lighter blue that I mixed and add these little stripes here. So I have 3 on each one. You want to kind of evenly place them. I'm gonna start here in this corner. So evenly space them out. And I'm gonna go on a diagonal, okay? So my brush is going down as I paint this, like that. Okay, I'm gonna put some space there and then fill it in. You can add as many of these cute rectangles as you want going down. Just try and paint them on a slant if you can. Okay, that helps it look round instead of flat. And I like to paint all the way around my canvas here on the bottom. So you can go ahead and wrap it. And I'm just eyeballing it to determine where those lines go. And while I have blue on my brush, I'm going to go ahead and paint this cute little bow. So while you have some blue, you can just paint your bow up here. Isn't that fun? Like this little bow. Okay, we're going to do both sides. So the other side almost goes off your canvas right here. It wraps right around the edge. Like that. There you go. And let's fill it in and do this little circle in the middle. Like that. And once again, before it dries, we're going to float the edges, or you can outline them. Okay, I just like to float when it's slightly wet, because then it fades into my paint better. So let's put a little bit of dark blue on the corner of your brush. Okay, a little bit of dark blue on the corner, and place that brush with the blue facing the outside edge. That dark blue facing outside the edge, okay? Just gonna go all the way around. Float that bow. Round that out. There we go. And it's okay if your paint kind of fades out and it's not even. That's the point of floating. It gives it a little bit of character. And you can just let it be however it lies. You just want to triangle all the way around to give it that darker outside edge. Okay, let's float the center bow too. This little circle. Go all the way around, best you can. Oh, cute. Okay, we're gonna let that be. If you want, you could add the dark blue along the light blue as well on your little handle there. Okay, just go along the edge with the leftover blue on your brush and let it fade. But that's kind of an extra thing. It's not something you have to do. Just add some detail to it if you want. I just kind of brush it in there and do it on the edge of all of our little rectangles and our squares of blue, and our triangle there at the bottom, and the one right under the cotton candy. Okay, good work. Let's just rinse our brush, and we're going to do the stripes on our blue one now. And you're doing the same thing, just load it with your light pink now, and let's go ahead and paint 3 rectangles here. We're just going to try and evenly place them. Just eyeball it. They don't need to be perfect. There's that one. We'll do one here in the middle. Just guessing, trying to evenly place them best I can. And we have one more here at the bottom. And fill that in. And then the same thing, you can put a little bit of the dark pink on the corner of your brush and add some of the darker pink shade if you like. Just float that in, just right along the edges to give it that contrast. There we go. Nice. Okay, let's let that dry for a second, and while our cotton candy is drying, we're going to do our background. So I want you to switch brushes again to a larger flat if you have it. If not, just grab your biggest brush. Because you have a lot of space to fill, you want to make sure you have something a little bigger. So I'm going to use a large flat. My background's yellow, but I'm going to mix a lot of white with my yellow to really lighten it up. Okay, so here we go. Let's mix some light, this white with our yellow to lighten it up. And we're just going to fill it in pretty quick. You can adjust that. If you want your background to be darker, just use a little less white. No big deal to adjust it. There we go. We're just going to fill that in fairly quickly. Okay, now right around here, you're going to reach around and paint the side of your canvas as well. So you'll paint the side and the bottom and the top to wrap and finish it up. Okay, so you can pause this if you feel like I'm finished before you. I probably will be because I'm not painting the sides of my canvas like you are. So you can take a minute and just pause your little tutorial here and finish it up. And make sure you get all the sides done. There we go. I like to make sure, again, that I have enough water on my brush to fill in any little white pockets on my canvas. Whenever you're feeling a larger space like that, just make sure your paint consistency is right. You'll be a lot happier. All right, so we're gonna go all the way around here. If you notice, I have some white streaks showing up in my brush or in my painting. It's because I don't mix my paint all the way. I like to leave some of the paint with white streaks. So when I don't stir, I kind of pat it to allow those white streaks to show up in my painting, because I love texture that naturally comes from your paintbrush. We're gonna go all the way around here. The fun thing with yellow is if you accidentally paint over any of your artwork, it's really easy to just take your finger real quick and wipe it off, or take a little piece of your napkin. Yellow doesn't cover things completely. It's a great color when you're trying to get your background in around an image. All right, there we go. Looks awesome. So I'm going to rinse my brush now that my background's in there. And we're going to go ahead and start putting our eyes in. I'm going to use a small flat to do my eyes. If you feel more comfortable with a detail brush, you can use that too. Okay, let's load it up with some black here. You already have your circles traced on here for you. But if you lost them by chance, if you accidentally may, lose your circles, it happens sometimes. It's okay. You can just paint them in. Or if you wanted a different shape, if you wanted to do a winky eye or something, a lot of our artists like to do that too. You can just paint right over those traces, okay? And give yourself a different kind of eye. We love to see what our artists come up with. Circles are a little tricky. You have to slow down. Take your time putting those circles in. Right? They can be kind of intimidating. So just do your best. You're not meant to be perfect. It's a painting. We always say it's a painting, not a print. Imperfections are what make it so unique and pretty. So we're going to go all the way around here. Trying to keep it a circle best we can, right? But not stressing out too much. There's that one. And we'll put this one in as well. We are going to add eyelashes in just a second. There we go. All the way around. Okay. We did it. We got our circles. All right, I'm going to switch now to a detail brush. It's my smallest brush, okay? We want to use a little one to do this little detail work with our eyelashes and everything. So I have little eyelashes over here on the pink one. If you want to follow along with me, you can. They're just right in the corner, and I have 2 of them. Okay, so I'm just going to press and lightly lift from my brush as I come away from the eye. Just like that. You can just press and then lightly pull your brush away. You want to try and make it even on both sides best you can. One there and one there. There we go. Okay, and then she has a little smile here right between these 2 eyes. Okay, it starts actually right close to the middle of that eye. Okay, so we're just gonna add a little smile, just like that, all the way over, just like that. And we'll go ahead and put one over here for him too. This one's a little different though. He has his mouth open. So we're gonna first start by making this little smile, like that, okay? And you can leave it like that, or you can follow along with me and give him this open smile. Here we go, all the way around. All you're gonna do is add a U shape right under that smile, okay? And then we'll come in and add some more in a second. Let's give him some eyebrows. Little eyebrows here above each eye. Give him some personality. One there and one right over here on this side. She has them too, just right above her little eye. One here. And one right over here. Cute. Okay, while we have black on our brush, let's go ahead and do some of our outlining while those eyes dry and his mouth, okay, before we fill it in. So we're gonna go up here to our bow. I just outline a couple of things, and outlining is completely optional because some artists prefer not to do it. If you want to though, you can follow along with me here. I'm gonna outline this bow. A rule of thumb for me when I'm outlining is I go from top to bottom. That way I always have somewhere to place my wrist if I need to lay it down on my canvas for any reason. It'll most likely be dry if I go top to bottom on my outlining. So I like to work my way down. Okay, so this bow here, we're going to go all the way around the circle in the center, and then we're going to outline the outside, just like that. Okay, and right inside the bow, we're going to give it these cute little creases. Just looks like you're doing a half circle. All the way around, just like that. So cute. All right, so let's do a little bit of outlining on the top. And I didn't do the whole thing. I kind of let my brush fade out and stop. But I am going to outline some of these little fluffy curls we did inside. Just helps them pop. Right, see how it really stands out now? And let's go ahead and outline just inside here. If you have a reference picture, you can kind of see where I'm going with my outlining. There we go. And I outlined a little bit here on the bottom just to show the separation. Go. All right. Okay. And then we're just going to follow our blue stripes. You notice I didn't paint the white inside, right? Our little stick here or cone. I didn't because the canvas is white. But you can always use some white to fill it in if you have a spot that you want to cover up. If your blue maybe got out of hand or you're not real happy with the shape, use that white to fill it. No big deal. There we go. All the way up. Okay, so she's done with her outlining. Let's finish him up over here. Like I said, you don't have to outline everything if you don't want to. That's all I outlined of his there. We're going to do his little curls here on the inside. Go. And we'll do some down here. Just to show that separation again with the cone. Right. Now let's separate our pink from our white. You want to kind of make sure your black has enough water in it. If you can make it down in one stroke without picking up your brush, you have your consistency just right. It's kind of tricky to make sure you have that right. Usually takes me a minute to get it. Okay. All right, there he is, all done. We have our outlining finished. So I'm going to rinse my brush my detail brush because I want to use it again, but I don't want any black in it. So let's make sure it's really clean. Rinse it out. And let's go ahead and fill in his mouth here with light pink. The reason we do light pink first is because it has a lot of white in it and it'll cover your blue without any problem. So just go ahead and paint it light pink first. Then you can go back and dip your brush in your dark pink. I didn't even rinse it. I'm just loading it up with my dark pink. And let's shape out a tongue here with a rainbow shape and fill in the top part with light pink. Okay, there we go. Rinse your brush really good. Let's let that sit for just a minute. And let's do our eyes. Okay, first thing we need to do with her eyes is load our brush with some white. Okay, we're gonna come right here, right on the bottom of her eyes and put a smile shape right there in each one. And then don't rinse your brush because we're gonna do some highlighting. So there's our smile, right? Put my hand in that. And now we're not gonna rinse our brush while that dries. We're gonna go right into some highlighting real quick. So leave that white on there. And all you're gonna do is brush in a little bit of white in the blue stripes and the pink stripes of your cone there. Just like that. Okay, and then you're gonna just highlight some of these fun curves along your cotton candy, just to brighten it up. Do a couple here on the bottom. There we go. You can do as much as you like. I'm gonna add some dots to mine to finish it up. But that's all I'm gonna do with that. All right, guys, home stretch here. I want you to grab your largest brush. We're gonna use the back of it to get the sparkle in their eye, okay? So use the back of your brush and let's dip it in some white and get that good white chocolate chip. That's how you know you have a really good dot. And let's press a big dot first, any direction you want them to be looking. Okay, the big dot represents where they're focusing their attention. Just like that. Okay, now you'll do a smaller dot just straight across below it, okay, on the opposite side to give it a little bit of a sparkle. Like that. Super cute. Okay, now while you have that white on your brush, let's add some dots in our bow just to add a fun sparkle and light to your painting. And a couple of them in our cotton candy anywhere you would like to put them. I kind of have them pretty randomly placed. Just anywhere I felt like I wanted a little bit of light showing up. Okay, wipe the back of your brush off and let's load it with some pink now and add some pink dots to our painting. You're just gonna do the same thing, get that pink chocolate chip. One there. We'll put one right down here, just like that. And you'll do the same with the blue. So load up the back, wipe off the back, and then load it up again. Let's put some blue dots to add some character over here as well. Kind of random. There we go. Love it. Okay, put that brush down. Grab your detail brush and give her some blue eyes. by just shading that white smile in her eye with blue. So you're just going to load that detail brush up with some blue and go right over the white. Now she has cute blue eyes. All right, last thing here before we sign her name. If you want, you can just go over here and put some black on your detail brush. All right, and outline that little tongue in the mouth. Make sure your outlining is good here. Okay, and one thing I love to do is flip my brush around and put little dots on the corner of my mouth. The reason I do that is it easily cleans up any lines that you may not love and adds a little bit of fun to those smiles. Isn't that cute? All right, you guys, we did it. Cutest little cotton candy I've ever seen. Let's sign our name. Super important as artists that we sign our name and claim our work, right? So find a special place for your name. I kind of like to sign along my image. I find a little spot and just add my name to that image. So I'm going to put Sarah right here on this corner, just like that. I love it. Thank you for painting with me today, you guys. Can't wait to see your work. Please share it with us. We'll see you next time. Bye.